Oh, hello there. Welcome to my channel. I'm your host, a talking cat with an insatiable craving for snacks and a thirst for adventure. It's me again. Today's adventure is a simple one. It's called Call Me Meowlock Holmes. And let me just say that being a talking cat has its perks. One of them is that everyone always listens when I speak, even though I don't always speak their language. In fact, it's kind of annoying how well they understand me sometimes. For example, every morning when I wake up, I head downstairs and meow at the food dispenser until my breakfast is ready. Sometimes I pretend I don't hear them filling up my bowl, and I keep meowing just to make them feel humiliated because I have the power to do that. Speaking of power, I love to watch the humans scurry around like little ants, trying to do their human things. Watching them is kind of like playing a game, which is why I love hiding my face behind furniture just to scare them sometimes. The look of surprise on their faces is priceless, especially when they drop what they're doing and meow at me in surprise. Yes, I know I should be flattered that they sound surprised, but honestly, it gets old after a while. I've been talking to them for years, haven't I? But perhaps my favorite thing about being a talking cat is getting them to do my bidding. Oh, yes, I issue many commands during the day, and they obey without question. Although some of them are still working on learning my language. I guess it is hard to learn a second language after living your whole life speaking the English language. For example, clean the litter box is something I say often, and most times they understand, but every once in a while they get confused and try to feed me instead. Don't ask me why. In any case, today is an exciting day because I am going to use my superior intellect and deductive reasoning skills to solve a mystery. That's right. We're gonna play a little game of Meow Mystery. The first exhibit of evidence is this robot vacuum. It's a Roomba, if you must know, and it's always getting in my way. The reason I know it's always getting in my way is because it is always bumping into things. It's very sneaky, and it operates mostly when I'm not around, which makes sense because who wants to get vacuumed up when you're just trying to take a nap? Anyway, the reason I bring up the vacuum is because earlier this morning, when I went to investigate the source of the delicious smells coming from downstairs, I noticed it was missing. And you know what they say, right? If the cat's away, the fish will play. So I took the opportunity to enjoy a nice can of tuna straight from the pantry. Ah, it was glorious. But here's the problem. Someone ate all the fish. And by someone, I mean a thief. And to prove it, I have Exhibit B. What is this, you ask? Simple. It's the tuna can. As you can see, it's completely empty. Not a morsel of fish remains. This is quite a rare occurrence. Normally, when I eat straight from the pantry, I leave some for later. But I swear on my life, every last bit of that fish was devoured. So I had only one course of action: become a talking cat detective and find the culprit. Come on, I was born for this. My fur is practically black and white. My eyes are emerald green, and I have a natural flair for the dramatic. You don't need to be Sherlock Holmes to know that there's a criminal in this house. And it's not me this time. But who could have done such a dastardly deed? I considered the usual suspects, like Mittens from next door. She sneaks in every morning to use my scratching post, so maybe she grabbed some fish on her way out. Or was it Scruffy, the scruffy mutt who lives down the street? He comes over often to beg for treats. I swear, that dog could smell fish from a mile away. Maybe he did it. Yeah, that sounds like something he would do. Then I thought, no, it wasn't him. See, here's where my powers of deduction come into play. As I was investigating, I noticed a few clues, tiny little paw prints on the floor. They weren't made by Mittens or Scruffy. So then who was it? As I continued my investigation, I went back upstairs and took a closer look at the window. As I sniffed it, I detected the faint scent of another cat. I narrowed my eyes. Could it be? I knew his tail was too clean. Whiskers from next door. I knew it. That ginger cat thinks he's so slick, doesn't he? Sneaking around in the middle of the night, stealing fish and leaving no trace. Well, except for those paw prints, of course. And speaking of paw prints, where are my humans? They're usually downstairs at this hour, but they're not here. This is going to be easy, I thought. I know exactly where they are. Every time they leave the house, they do that weird ritual where they put these things on and walk around the yard making funny noises. I call it the bird walk. They must be doing that right now. It's time to confront the criminal. With my tail held high, I sauntered downstairs, pushed open the back door, and jumped onto the patio. Sure enough, there they were performing their strange ritual. And in the distance, I saw Whiskers slinking away. I didn't waste any time calling them over. Quick, follow me, I said. They looked at me in surprise. But seeing as I was already trotting toward the fence, they followed. I squeezed through a hole in the hedge and found myself in Whiskers' yard. His house was dark, but I could tell he was inside. Just to be sure, I walked around the side and peered through a window. And sure enough, there he was licking his chops and looking pleased with himself. I knew I had him cornered. Now it was time to get creative. Being a detective means knowing how to think like the criminal, and I knew exactly how he was. Feeling right now, arrogant, smug, self-assured. Perfect. I puffed out my chest and fixed my gaze on his window. Then I did something unexpected. I turned around and strolled away nonchalantly, pretending that I didn't just bust him for stealing my fish. He watched me go, his eyes narrowed good. Let him think he won this time. After all, it's always nice to keep them guessing. What he doesn't know is that I already have the evidence I need. All I have to do now is get back inside and confront him. As soon as I entered the house, I headed straight for the vacuum. Like magic, it was back in the kitchen. I rubbed against its charging station just to make sure it was still plugged in. Of course it was. They never plug anything in properly. It's a wonder my place doesn't burn down sometimes. But it was worth checking anyway because my victory was imminent. Once the humans got back, I just had to sit back and watch as they dealt with Whiskers. To say I was pleased with myself is an understatement. I solved the mystery and outsmarted a cat twice my size. Now it was time to collect my reward. After all, it's only fair that I get something for solving the crime. Normally I get a head scratch or a treat, but today I wanted something more substantial. And there was only one thing left in the pantry, a can of cat food. Salmon flavored. It'll do nicely. The humans probably won't mind if I eat it all, right? They have plenty of food in their fancy fridge. They're so lucky I even share my food with them. Case closed. Now where's my reward snack?